over 100 years old, and they're like riding bikes and racing, and it's like they're old. They are very old.
But they're experiencing a very good quality of life.
Yeah.
And they're experiencing a quality of life that these other people that don't exercise they physically feel their own body diminishing, and they just feel it's inevitable. It is what it is. You're wasting your time. You're out there running around. But no, we're not, because this experience right now, it's not like no one's under the illusion that you're going to live forever, but you are enhancing the experience that you're currently involved in right now. And you are alive. Right. You are alive. You do experience this life. But do you experience this life optimally? Is it as enjoyable as it can be? And we all know that there's a spectrum for that enjoyability. Like, we've all had times in our life where it's not been so great. And then times in our life where everything came together and like, what a fucking great day. Woo! Like, make more of those. Like, you can make more of those. And then the whole thing's better. And I think when that whole thing is better, it affects everybody you touch, everybody that's around you, everybody you come in contact with. And that in turn, I mean, it sounds so grandiose, but in turn can affect the entire race of human beings.
I agree. Totally agree. And I love the way you put it about like the feeling good. It's not just about, staving off cancer. It's not just about what's going to happen 20, 30 years from now. It's about now. It's about not being depressed. We know that. It's about feeling better. It's about being smarter. It's about having more executive function, having more long-term planning, less emotional amygdala, anxiety. That is like right here, right now. That is happening. That is so, it's not just long-term effects, which you also are, also affecting, which is very good. So it's like a win-win. You're not just affecting the future. You're affecting right now, how you feel, how you perform. It's an important concept that I continue to try to get across to people.
And it also will optimize everything else you do, whether it's creative pursuits, whether it's relationships that you get into. A lot of those things are predicated on how you feel as you enter them, how you feel when you participate in them, and you can enhance that. And I mean, there's a weird thing that people do where they want to pretend they're not trying to do better. I'm fine. Everything's great. Like, that's not true. You're putting out effort. It's a matter of you have a mindset, or you have a connection in your brain with putting out more effort and connecting that to discomfort. And that connecting things to discomfort. Have you ever, Stephen Pressfield has a book called The War of Art. I've brought it up in this podcast a million times. I actually have a copy of it. I'll give it to you afterwards, because I bought like 50 copies of it. And I hand it out to people. It's great. And he's been on this podcast before. And his book is essentially mostly about the creative pursuit. And it's about resistance that people feel when you should write, or you should paint, or whatever you should sculpt, whatever these things are that you pursue. And that there's this thing that comes up that tries to keep you from doing that, this resistance. And he's like, this is a battle that you will fight for the rest of your life. But the key is to fight it, not to give in. Don't give in to that resistance. To fight that resistance. And in doing so, every day you do so, you have won the battle for that day. And you will continue to fight that battle. And if you continue to fight that battle with that same mindset, you will win. And this is a guy that, like, up until the time he was 40 years old, he was basically a loser. He wasn't doing well. He was like a failed writer. And then he kind of just figured it out and got his shit together and then wrote books about it. And now he's like a really accomplished author. And it's an amazing story. And he's a really cool guy, too. I had him on for a podcast. And, in his enthusiasm and the way he approaches it in this book is like, it's very pragmatic. Like, you can see the steps, and he lays it all out in a way that's very easy to digest.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to read it. I mean, I think that's something that's a very important part of the human experience, is pushing past that resistance to
very
whatever.
Much so.
And you're right. Once you do it, you get better at it next time too.